But yeah.
We're getting that echo again.
Okay, I'll try to fix it.
All right. This will probably be a minute and a half.
Of other
All right, we're ready.
And now, let's meet these starting lineups. First, for the Saints of St. Thomas Aquinas. A 5'9" sophomore, number 2, Hank Young. A 6'7" senior, number 3, Zach Janello. A 5'10" senior, number 5, Matthew.
How much time we got? Check.
Whenever you guys are ready.
We're ready to go.
All right, here we go.
Welcome back to Blue Valley North High School. And real quickly, the starters for you before we get rolling here at Overland Park. First, for St. Thomas Aquinas, the visiting team behind first-year head coach Jake Coopersmith. His starting five looks like this. Running the point, Matt Connor, averaging 4 points a game and 4.5 assists per game. He's a 5'10 senior. Joining him in the backcourt, Tyron Tank Young, 5'9 sophomore, averaging 9 points a game. Joe Roast, averaging 14 a game, 6 boards a game. He's a 6'5 senior. Keyshawn Mason, you alluded to him in the pregame, a transfer from Mill Valley, a 6'8 sophomore, averaging 11 points a game. And Zach Janillo, a 6'7 senior inside for Aquinas. On the other side for Blue Valley North, It's senior night, so it is an unconventional starting five for Ryan Pfeiffer's club in his 13th season. Wyatt Turner, a 6'3 senior. Cameron Burt, inside, a 6'4 senior, headed to Columbia next year to play receiver. Cole Kamar, a 6'2 senior, shoots a better than 40% from three. Gus Freeman, a 6' senior, and Nikit Karana, a 6'4 senior, rounds out your starting five for Blue Valley North. Taylor, before we get things rolling here from Blue Valley North High School, what are you looking for a key in this ball game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the post play. I think it's going to be inside play. Ever since St. Thomas Aquinas has been able to get Keyshawn Mason in the lineup, they've been able to really control the post. So I think if Blue Valley North can really hold Mason in check, I think Blue Valley North has a really good shot at winning this one. Reverse that with Aquinas. If they can get Mason going and then get it out to Joe Roast and Tank Young, I think St. Thomas Aquinas has a real good chance of winning this.
Aquinas 11-8 on the year. They have lost 2 of their last 3 games to Rockhurst and Bishop Miege, the top 2 teams in the city. Blue Valley North on the other side, they are rolling. Winners of 8 of their last 10, 5 straight for the Mustangs. Aquinas will go right to left in this opening quarter. Blue Valley North will go left to right. North in their home white uniforms. They've got the Navy numbers and the Navy North across the front of their jersey, and the Saints in their Navy Rhodes with the gold numbers and gold letters across the front. The tip is controlled by Aquinas, and we're underway from Blue Valley North High School, the finale of the regular season for these 2 EKL squads. Matt Connor up front will work it into the post, and an immediate reach-in foul as they got it to Zach Janillo, and it was Cameron Burt coming from behind the back.
I say, especially with this unconventional starting lineup, I think you're going to see St. Thomas Aquinas these first couple of possessions really try to get it in the post to Mason and Ganalo.
Just 12 seconds into this game. This inbound is tipped right to Joe Roast on the low block. Goes up in a double team. His shot wouldn't go. Offensive rebound. Roast's second try. Will bounce it home. Here comes Blue Valley North again, an unconventional starting lineup. Gus Freeman running the point tonight to start the ball game. See how long Ryan Pfeiffer sticks with this unconventional starting five. Up top, Kamar, and he swings it right side to an open 3 for Wyatt Turner. Wouldn't go. An offensive rebound, though, for Karana. They swing it back up top to Freeman, who reset the offense. Left side, Burt, and they work it onto the baseline to Freeman. Freeman over there on the sideline, dribbles away from it. Right side of the paint. His scoop shot will go. Gus Freeman ties us at 2. 1 minute into this opening quarter. Matt Connor with a blow-by. Good dish to Mason for the easy one-handed slam.
And that's been the addition that Keyshawn Mason has provided. Before Christmas, they had no inside presence. Now they do with Keyshawn Mason.
An authoritative presence, too, at 6'8" and only a sophomore. Going to be one of the best recruits in the city here in a couple of years. Bird up front. Swings it left side to Freeman. He had those first 2 of the game on that layup on the last possession. Gets double team, passes out of it up top to Cole Kamar. Onto the baseline. They work it to Cameron Burt, the future Columbia receiver. Picks up his dribble on the baseline. Passes out of it to Wyatt Turner. 6:18 to go first quarter. His pass is nearly tipped and taken away, but it comes out of bounds. And it will go back over to Aquinas, so a turnover for the Mustangs.
Yeah, the Mustangs obviously with this unconventional lineup really kind of being slow in what they want to kind of do. We'll see how long this lineup stays on the floor.
Again, this is not a single member of the normal starting 5 on the floor right now for the Mustangs. Keyshawn Mason traveled with it, top of the key, and another turnover. This time, Aquinas turns it over. 6:01 to go first quarter. Slow start, 4-2. Aquinas on the road with an early 2-point advantage. Here comes Freeman for the Mustangs. Matt Connor on him, man defense to start off the ball game for Aquinas. Up top, Kamar. With a right-hand dribble, works it into the hands of Cameron Burt on the wing. Burt tries to work it to the baseline, picks up his dribble and passes out of it over to Gus Freeman. Freeman into the lane. He picks up his dribble and now dishes into the corner to Kamar. Kamar over to Wyatt Turner. He'll fire a 3 left wing. Wouldn't go. Offensive rebounds. New possession for Blue Valley North after Kamar chased down the loose ball. Karana up front. Wanted to go back door, thought better of it with Keyshawn Mason in his face. And now they work it right side into the hands of Cole Kamar. Kamar cross court, Cameron Burt high grab. taking their time on this possession now are the Mustangs. Freeman left side of the lane, picks up his dribble, works it onto the baseline. Karana, a 10-foot jumper, wouldn't go. Back the other way come the Saints. Connor right side, Tank Young. And now STA will slow it down, and Blue Valley North ready to go to the bench here. Matt Connor all the way to the rack, got his shot blocked from behind. Karana over there to send it away, and back come the Mustangs. Freeman up with it, over to Karana. He spins to the low block, got it stripped, and taken away by Matt Connor. Back the other way come the Saints. Young thought about a three, instead thought better of it. And now he's going to attack. Kick, left baseline. Open three, Janillo. That wouldn't go. And the Mustangs board. 4:24 to go first quarter, and still a 4-2 lead for Aquinas. They work it into Karana again. On the low block, good pump. And Karana able to get past Mason and lay it in with the left.
And just a fundamental move. Pumped inside, had to step through, got a nice layup.
5 subs ready for Ryan Pfeiffer's club at the scorer's table. Right side, Joe Roast averages 14 a game for Aquinas. Kicks right side, Connor, and now they work it into Keyshawn Mason. Mason gets double teamed on the low block, and he traveled, and another turnover. The second travel we've seen from Keyshawn Mason in this first quarter, and here comes that line change for Blue Valley North.
I'm saying that double team really flustered Keyshawn Mason, and that's kind of been the way to nullify Keyshawn Mason in the post, is he's kind of struggled out of double teams so far since he's been put in the starting lineup.
Vlasic, Sheplak, Hershey, Petsa-Kixon on the floor. They work it to Hendershot. Hendershot in the lane, kicks left corner to a driving Sheplak, who picks up his dribble after he gets doubled. Petsa-Kixon now left wing with a crossover. Kicks it, top of the key. Hendershot open. Three is good. Sean Hendershot has got the Mustangs up 7-4.
And now with this line change that you mentioned, now you can kind of feel that this defense of St. Thomas Aquinas is really going to have to work, because there's a lot of playmakers now on the floor for Blue Valley North.
3:10 to go first quarter. 3-point advantage, Mustangs. Young, left side for Aquinas. Behind the back dribble, crossover top of the key. Now he'll attack near the free throw line. Skips past Petsa-Kixon, and now kicks it right baseline into the hands of Matt Connor. He'll drive that baseline. Kick to Mason. Ball loose on the floor. Picked up by the Mustangs. And now Mason tried to wrestle it back away, and a personal foul on Keyshawn Mason with 2:51 to go in the first quarter. Mason Colangelo over to the scorer's table, ready to check in for STA as Janillo heads off. That's the first on Keyshawn Mason. And a slow start for Aquinas, but this is a team that emphasizes defensive basketball over everything else. Petsa-Kixon backdoor pass got taken away. Back the other way come the Saints. Roast at midcourt, nearly traveled, and he did travel. He ran right into Petsa-Kixon at midcourt. And Petsa-Kixon did a good job of just standing with his feet planted at midcourt, forcing travel on Roast.
Yeah, Petsa-Kixon was right there, kind of held his ground, and then took one half step back, and Roast traveled with the basketball.
Right side, Petsa-Kixon. They work it into the post. Vlasic, open 5-footer, missed it from the baseline, but an offensive rebound. Petsa-Kixon up front, behind the back dribble. He'll pull up and nail a long two. And a timeout taken by Jake Cooper-Smith. And now the Mustangs, their original starting 5 out on the floor, have built themselves a 5-point advantage, 2:16 to go first quarter. And early on, 3 travels for Aquinas. It seems like they're out of sorts offensively.
Yeah, it seems like they are out of sorts. And again, on Tuesday, scored 46 points, and now it's starting to look like they're heading towards that trend again. So really need to get something figured out on that offensive end, but you also have to give credit to Blue Valley North's defense. It's been very stifling every time Mason catches it in the post. Here comes a double team, and he struggled out of it so far.
You mentioned that they were held to 46 points the other night. In their last 3 games, they have taken on Rockhurst, Blue Valley West, and Bishop Miege. They have not topped 50 points in any of those 3 games.
And you mentioned it a little bit during play. They do emphasize defense. Coach Cooper-Smith really, you can tell, is very animated whenever they're on the defensive end. But offense has kind of been a struggle so far this season. They've had a lot of spurts where they don't score.
Pesic Hickson picks up his first personal foul as he was in the body of Matt Connor. Didn't like the call, and I mentioned in that game last year in these two teams, Pesic Hickson got into a shoving match early on in the second half and received a technical, and then his coach sat him for the remainder of the game, and that was a critical game in their season last year. So, again, keep an eye on that going forward as he picks up his first personal. Stays with STA. Matt Connor up front with it. Mason dumps it into the post, and now they swing it. Right side roast. He'll fire a three from the right wing. That wouldn't go. Vlasic the board for the Mustangs. Back comes Blue Valley North with it. Hershey on the baseline. Reverse layup. Wouldn't go. Offensive rebound. Pesic Hickson. And now a whistle and a foul call underneath is going to keep it with the Mustangs.
So that was a big offensive rebound, and now a big foul for St. Thomas Aquinas. Getting that offensive rebound now is going to force Keyshawn Mason to go to the bench.
Pesic Hickson, the #1 rated athlete recruit in the state of Kansas this year. Originally committed to Michigan and then swapped his recruitment and decided to go with Kansas on signing day. In the post, taken away. Back the other way comes TJ Williams-Bay. He's going to pull up from the left elbow and bury a jumper.
That's what TJ Williams-Bay does. He's really good on the defensive end, and then on the offensive end, he can, if he gets a shot going, he can really put the ball in the hoop.
Williams-Bay, he's going to play football at Fort Scott Community College next year. Nearly another turnover. Vlasic up front. They work it into the post. Hendershot gets double teamed, forces up a two, wouldn't go. Back the other way come the Saints. Connor across midcourt. Connor kicks into the corner. Williams-Bay traveled, and it goes back over to the Mustangs. 4 travels in the opening quarter against the Saints.
Yeah, and 3 of them so far has just been, they didn't put the ball on the floor before they took off. So they kind of need to put an emphasis on that right now, because that's 3 turnovers, and that's 3 big turnovers from that way that could have led to points.
Matt Connor heads out of this game with a 1:04 to go in the opening quarter. Pesic Hickson up front. Resets the offense inside of a minute to go in the opening quarter. Trying to work the Vlasic on the low block. Good defense inside. Now they do in a double team. Kicks left side. Hendershot thought about a 3. Now he drives the lane. Blocked at the rim by Janillo, and he spikes it out of bounds, and it will stay with the Mustangs. And Zach Janillo, he creates problems inside at 6'7". That's his first block of the game. Pesic Hickson on the inbounds. He'll drive through the defense. Layup wouldn't go, but a foul should put Pesic Hickson on the line with 42 to play.
Foul number 14, TJ Williams-Bay. This first team 32.
Pesic Hickson just did exactly what he's been doing all year. He curls around, and he's able to get straight to the basket.
65% free throw shooter on the year, short on his first free throw try. Again, this is a team that started off the year real slow. 4-5 to start the year, but they have now turned it on 8 of their last 10 games. They've won 5 in a row, 0 for 2 trip for Pesic Hickson from the line. Young through traffic all the way to the rack, got fouled, and now they're going to put Tank Young on the free throw line with 35 seconds to go in this first quarter.
And that's been one thing with the offensive struggles of St. Thomas Aquinas. Kind of before Christmas and a little right after Christmas, Tank Young was really getting going. He was putting in 16, 17, 18 a game. Now, recently, he's been really hard. You know, the last couple games, 2, 4, 6 points. I think Tank Young really needs to get going for St. Thomas Aquinas to stay in this game.
Averaging 8.5 points a game. He hits the front end of these 2 free throws. He's got one more coming. Only a 5'9" sophomore. He's already picked up a football offer from Iowa State. His second free throw goes to a 2 trip for Tank Young. And here comes Zarion Navy, a 6'3" junior guard, off the bench. Just 35 seconds left in this first quarter. 9-8, Blue Valley North, a 1-point advantage at home on senior night against St. Thomas Aquinas. Here comes Hershey. Little dribble hand off, Pesic Hickson right wing, works into Vlasic on the low block, and an easy lay-in for Ethan Vlasic.
And Vlasic had a nice slip, was able to get straight to the basket and got a nice, easy, wide-open layup.
Aquinas should be able to hold for the final shot, down 3 with 20 seconds to play in this first quarter. Young on it near midcourt for St. Thomas Aquinas. Gets to the paint on the dribble drive, got it poked away and taken away. Pesic Hickson up and running. Left side, all the way to the rack, thrown away, and on the tip, it'll go. Vlasic caught the block shot, able to put it in at the horn, and the Mustangs ride a 5-point lead into the quarter break. 13-8 after 1 on your ESPN Kansas City High School Basketball Game of the Week.
Can we turn up mic 2 a little bit, please?
Yeah.
Dirty. Ten. Here we go.
13-8 as we head for quarter 2 from Blue Valley North High School. I'm Tim Sproul. He's Taylor Dameron. 4 points for Ethan Vlasic, the 6'7 senior in that first quarter. And it's a 5-point Blue Valley North lead on senior night. Hendershot will kick right baseline. First time into the game, Luke Adams. Works it over to Vlasic from the right elbow. Vlasic puts it on the floor, spins back to the middle, and he traveled with it, and it's going to go back over to STA.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Vlasic had 4 big points in that first half. Oh, in that first quarter, excuse me. Slip into the basket, and he was able to get that tip in right before the end of the quarter.
For full court pressure now for Blue Valley North after the turnover. Near side, Colangelo gets double teamed at midcourt, and they're going to force a jump ball. And boy, St. Thomas Aquinas, they're going to keep possession, but it seems like they're still waking up from this one. It doesn't seem like they've gotten off the bench. The offense has been quiet, only 8 points in that first quarter. We saw 4 travels in that first quarter. Janillo, he's going to pull up from the left elbow out of the inbounds, and that one won't go. Rebound tipped around, taken by Pesic Hickson. He wants to run. Amari Pesic Hickson through the lane, kicks right side. Sheplak thought about the 3. Now he's going to step into a runner from the elbow. Wouldn't go. Rebound comes out of bounds, back over to Aquinas. And so for as many opportunities as Aquinas is giving Blue Valley North, the Mustangs really aren't taking advantage of it, only up 5.
I say only 13 points so far, and it looked like there's been a couple opportunities to shoot a couple of threes that Blue Valley North just hasn't taken. They've been wide open. This hasn't taken them. We'll see if that kind of changes here as we move along.
Aquinas breaks into the front court with Tank Young. Gets doubled, dribbles away from it. Left side of the paint. His layup will go. Athletic play by Tank Young.
Yeah, Tank Young just kind of did a Euro step and was able to get to the layup. The smallest guy on the floor able to get right to the rim.
Cuts that lead to 3. Pesic Hickson inside to Vlasic. Got stripped going up, and they're going to call a foul on Zarion Navy and send Vlasic to the line. 6:46 to go till halftime. Vlasic, a 50% free throw shooter on the year. Again, 4 first quarter points, including a buzzer beater tip in. First free throw comes off no good. A lot of good free throw shooters on this Mustangs team, but Vlasic is not one of them. Trying to earn 1 for 2 from the stripe, and he'll come up long on the second shot. So 0 for 2 trip for Vlasic, and it stays a 3-point lead. Here comes Joe Roast and Aquinas. Up top, Zarion Navy just picked up that personal foul on the other side. Now he's going to kick it right side. Tank Young, he'll fire a deep 3. Tank Young has got a 3 ball, and now 7 in the game for Tank Young.
And Tank Young can do that. A lot of teams play off of him, but if he hits a couple of 3-pointers, he gets real confident, and he'll shoot it all night long.
Right side, Adams a 3. That will go from the corner. Luke Adams the answer. Back the other way, Aquinas up with it, down 3, 16-13, 6:05 to go till halftime. Tank Young up front. He's going to attack the paint with a right hand. Block from behind. Offensive rebound, Aquinas, though. Roast on the baseline. He gets doubled. Dishes it inside, over the head of Zarion Navy and taken away by Adams of Blue Valley North. Adams gets bumped at midcourt by Janillo and fouled, and it'll stay with the Mustangs. But all of a sudden now, it seems like Tank Young is trying to flip the switch, take matters into his own hands early on this second quarter.
Yeah, and Tank Young kind of plays basketball exactly like how he plays football. He just kind of puts his nose in there and he goes at it. He's normally the smallest guy on the floor, but he's always looking to attack.
Mustangs with it, up 16-13, 5:45 to go second quarter. Karana back into the game for Blue Valley North. He picks up his dribble, gets rid of it to Pesek Hickson. Dribbles away from a double team, top of the key, crosses over, gets to the block, kicks, left side, Hendershot, catch and shoot three, wouldn't go. Karana the offensive board, back to Hendershot, and they'll reset with Pesek Hickson. Young on him, he'll fire a pull-up three, that's short. Karana, another offensive board, putback wouldn't go. Tipped around, a Pesek Hickson offensive board is blocked. And finally, STA comes away with it. 4 shots at the rim, couldn't come up with anything. Young right side. Left wing Roast with it. 5 minutes to go till halftime. Young, he'll drive left side of the paint, pick it up. Kick left side Roast. He'll fire a three. That wouldn't go. Rebound tipped around and taken by the Mustangs. Back and running. Pesek Hickson left wing. Deep three. Pesek Hickson has got it. First three of the game for Amari Pesek Hickson, and it's a 6-point advantage.
I think so far the 2 jump shots that Pesek Hickson has hit so far in this game, I don't think either of them barely hit the net.
19-13. Left side, Tank Young, 7 points of the game, 5 in the second quarter for the sophomore guard. Left wing Roast. Works it into the hands of Young. He'll fire another deep three. That wouldn't go. Offensive rebound. And a foul as Philip Bell tried to go back up with the offensive board. And they'll put him on the line, 4:20 to go till halftime. 6'6" junior, averaging 4 points, 3 boards a game off the bench. His first free throw is good. And here comes Keyshawn Mason. And again, you mentioned the post play and how vital it is for Aquinas to get Keyshawn Mason going. Quiet in the first quarter. Only 2 points, the first 2 of the night for Aquinas. But he was quiet since that point.
He's really, so far, he's had 2 turnovers in a double team. We'll see if Keyshawn Mason doesn't make a couple of adjustments.
Philip Bell hits both free throws to cut that lead to 5 at 19-14. Here comes Amari Pesek Hickson, the future Jayhawk. Left side into the hands of Luke Adams. Adams getting hounded. Works it back up top, Ben Hershey. Hershey with a jab step, moves to the right side of the lane. High, shot off the glass, wouldn't go. And now a whistle and a shove on the floor is going to keep it with Blue Valley North.
It looked like Matthew Connor put one hand on the back there, and they're going to call that every single time.
Midway through this second quarter, 3:58 to go till halftime. And again, 19-15 advantage for Blue Valley North over St. Thomas Aquinas. Mustangs with an inbounds underneath their own basket. They work it to Karana. Catch and shoot 10-footer from the left wing is no good. Back up running with it, Matt Connor for STA. Kicks left side, Roast. Pump faked his man off his feet. Now works it right side, Tank Young. He'll fire a three. That's long. Hershey the board for the Mustangs. Left side, Hershey with a step back, works to Karana at the elbow. And now his pass is taken away by Joe Roast. Roast one-on-one in the open floor with Luke Adams. Sidesteps him, wouldn't get the layup to fall, but he does get fouled, and they'll send him on the line. And now slow to get up is Joe Roast. Still on the floor underneath the Aquinas basket with 3:29 to go till halftime. And I think he came down awkwardly on that right foot.
I say it looked like he might have twisted that ankle whenever he landed.
Yeah, this is a critical part of this Aquinas attack. 6'5" senior averages 14 points a game. And yeah, he comes up limping on that right ankle. And again, that is a critical blow because this guy is good for 14.6 boards a contest, their leading scorer on the year. And not only that, but he's got excellent size at 6'5". He's a matchup nightmare. And so he will head off to the locker room.
Joe Roast is definitely your prototypical modern-day basketball stretch 4 at the high school level, where he can post up if he needs to, but he can also shoot it and he can drive.
That means Zarion Navy will check back in, and he will be sent to the foul line. Again, 3:29 to go till halftime. First free throw for Navy is good off the bench. And they took him right back to the locker room, too. They didn't bring him over to the bench, let him kind of work it out over here on the baseline. Took him straight back to the locker room, which is not an encouraging sign.
And you can kind of tell, especially from where we're sitting, you can kind of tell in his face, he kind of knew something wasn't right with that lower leg.
Navy hits both free throws, cuts this lead to 2 at 19-17. Here comes Pesic Hickson for Blue Valley North on senior night with their 2-point advantage at home. Dumps to Vlasic in the post. He gets double teamed. Vlasic putting on a move on the baseline. His pass tipped and a reach-in foul call by Keyshawn Mason. And another one on the big 6'8" sophomore. And they're going to have to send him off with 3:13 to go till halftime. And he will likely be done. That's his 3rd personal. And that is a huge blow to Jake Coopersmith's team. In a matter of about 30 seconds here, your leading scorer heads to the locker room with an injury. And Keyshawn Mason, your 2nd leading scorer, picks up his 3rd personal in this first half. Vlasic's free throw is good. He's got another one coming.
I'm saying, if you're Coach Coopersmith, you really just kind of got to weather this last 3:13. You got to hope that this lead can only stay at about 3 or 4 going into the locker room. And if you do, you got to feel pretty good if you're Coach Coopersmith.
It means Aquinas is about to take the air out of the basketball on the offensive end. Vlasic's 2nd free throw comes off the rim, no good. 20-17, only a 3-point advantage for Blue Valley North. Connor into the front court, guarded by Amari Pesic Hickson. Works to Zarion Navy. Navy behind the back dribble. Left side, Connor. The point guard works it into the hands of Phillip Bell, top of the key. Back to Connor, and now into the corner. They go to Navy. Guarded by Luke Adams. 2:45, and like I said, Aquinas is going to try to kill some clock here. And again, they realize the situation. And we've seen this from them in the past. Connor kicks left side. Janillo thought about the 3, and now he will work it back up top, and they'll reset the offense. Navy, a step back 3, left wing. Tough shot, wouldn't go. Offensive rebound, Bell. Bell goes up with a right hand. That will bank home. And Aquinas has cut the lead to 1.
Yeah, that's what Phillip Bell does. He's kind of a glue guy, hustle guy off the bench. He's going to get your rebounds, and he's going to put putbacks like that. But if you're, like you mentioned, they took the air out of the basketball. They had that possession for about 45 seconds. So I think that's going to be St. Thomas Aquinas' strategy moving forward here with the last 2:23 to go.
Mustangs burn a 30 with 2:23, like you mentioned, to go in this first half. You're listening on ESPN Kansas City, watching us on 810varsity.com. I'm Tim Spurl. He's Taylor Dameron. And, yeah, that's the situation right now for Aquinas. And, again, this is a big game for them. A must-win game. Playoffs coming up. You need all the momentum in the world. And right now, a tough situation. But, again, if you can really slow this game down over the last 2:23, you feel good about yourself going to the locker room.
Yeah, you got to feel real good. And again, Coach Coopersmith really preaches defense. Now that's really going to come into play here. You're missing your top 2 leading scorers, 1 for foul trouble and 1 that we saw got hurt. So this is a big moment. But if you're Blue Valley North, you also have to realize the situation. You really need to start attacking here. You're in the bonus as well. If you're Blue Valley North, look to attack if you can.
Out of the timeout, here come the Mustangs. Pesic Hickson picks up a screen, works right side of the paint. Scoop shot will go for Amari Pesic Hickson. He's got 7 in the game. Back up 3 go the Mustangs. Connor uses the screen, works it right side into the hands of Janillo, and now they swing it back to Tank Young. He's got 7 in this first half. Young trying to put on a move at the free throw line. Almost got it stripped away, and it comes right to his teammate. On the baseline, the floater won't go, and the rebound pulled down by the Mustangs. Up and running comes Ben Hershey into the front court. Kicks left side. Adams catch and shoot 3. That is short. Long rebound taken by Mason Colangelo of STA. 1:30 to go in this first half, and a low-scoring affair from Blue Valley North High School. The Mustangs have won 3 in a row against St. Thomas Aquinas. Up top, Colangelo trying to work it into the post. Instead, he works it to Navy on the right wing. Left side, Tank Young in the corner. Thought about a 3, and now he'll attack that left baseline, get bumped out of bounds, and they're going to say that is going to be off STA. Young got a little bit of a hip check trying to drive that baseline. They didn't call a personal foul, and it sent Young sprawling over the sideline. And he gives it back to Blue Valley North. Still no sign of Joe Roast, who again limped back to the locker room about 2.5 minutes ago. And Keyshawn Mason remains on the bench, and he will stay there for the remainder of this first half with 3 personal fouls. 1 minute to go till halftime. Mustangs by 3, 22-19. Right side, baseline drive, Hershey. Gets all the way underneath the basket, lost the dribble. It comes out of bounds, and we're going to have a personal foul go against Blue Valley North. Hershey trying to chase down the ball he coughed up. Picks up the foul, and back to STA, 53.8 to go till halftime.
Yeah, and that turnover kind of got caused by TJ Williams-Bay really being aggressive, trying to get it tipped, and then Hershey just never really could able to get a hold of the basketball. And like you mentioned, with 50 seconds left, we'll see if St. Thomas Aquinas takes this all the way down till halftime.
Yeah, it's not out of the question for the way Aquinas plays that they could sit on this for nearly a full minute of regulation and wait for the final shot. Right now, Colangelo on it. Double teamed, works it to Connor right side. Connor kicks, left baseline, Navy. He'll fire a 3. Bury that 3 from the corner. And he ties us at 22. 21 seconds to go till halftime. Hendershot up front. He'll drive right side of the lane, kick right side, and now they work it up top, Luke Adams. Inside 12 seconds. Pesek-Hickson off the floor for this final possession of half number 1. Freeman, he'll drive left side of the lane, pumped Colangelo off his feet, and he gets blocked. And now this ball comes out of bounds at the horn. And Zach Janillo picks up his second block of the first half as he turns away Gus Freeman to end the first half of play, and we are tied in a dogfight, 22-22, as the teams head for the locker rooms. Blue Valley North and St. Thomas Aquinas. What else is new? They always play each other close, and tonight so far, no different. We step aside on ESPN Kansas City and 810varsity.com.
How long you want here?
Let's do 3 minutes. We'll come back, talk for a little bit, do another 2-minute break, and then we'll run with it.
Tonight,
Okay.
Cool. Who hit that? Navy hit the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those are point totals.
Okay.
tonight we would like to recognize our senior cheerleaders and their parents. The coach would like to thank each of them for their dedication to the DVN cheer program and for their incredible leadership. You have made an incredible impact on the program, and we are excited to see what the future holds for each of you. Please congratulate these wonderful senior cheerleaders. Our first one, Taylor Jared, is the daughter of Dan and Jenny Jared. She plans to attend the University of Arkansas and major in nursing and minor in Spanish. Taylor Jared. is the daughter of Anthony and Angela Mueller, will be escorted tonight by Mr. and Mrs. Hendershot. She plans to attend the University of Nebraska in Lincoln and plans to major in psychology and
30.
criminology.
All right.
Mara Mueller. Our next senior, Olivia Forwada, is the daughter of Andre and Shannon Forwada. She plans to attend the University of Nebraska in Lincoln and major
10.
in computer science. Olivia Forwada. Our next,
Here we go.
Elizabeth Shoemaker, daughter of Kelly.
Welcome back to Blue Valley North High School halftime of the Mustangs and the Saints of St. Thomas Aquinas. 22-22. Got ourselves an old defensive showdown here at Blue Valley North. I'm Judge Pearl. He is Taylor Dameron. And at the halftime, looking at a couple of these numbers here for Aquinas. Tank Young led the way, 7 points. Darion Navy with that 3 at the end of the first half, gave him 5 for the first 16 minutes of play. And on the other side for the Mustangs, 7 for Amari Pesic-Hickson and 5 more for Ethan Vlasic. But, I mean, we kept talking about it, Taylor. The offenses, it seems like they were stuck in neutral for most of that first half. What needs to change? We'll talk about Aquinas first. And obviously they've got a lot more problems than Blue Valley North with Joe Rose. Not sure if he'll return to this game. And Keyshawn Mason having to play with 3 fouls. Is it going to become, obviously, a much more guard-oriented second half going forward?
I think it will. I think you're going to see a lot more Zarion Navy, who he actually was in the starting lineup before Christmas. Ganalo was hurt, but that was before Keyshawn Mason was eligible to play. So I think you're going to see a lot more kind of 4 out, 1 in with St. Thomas Aquinas. But also I think you're going to see what you saw in the first half, where they're just really going to take the air out of the basketball and really try to slow this game down and try to make sure this game stays, in the 40s, low 50s.
And now you talk about, obviously, the guard play, but now if you look into the post, again, Mason's playing with 3, and Joe Roast, for all we know, may not return to this game. And again, he basically plays like you were talking about the stretch 4. So Zach Janillo, that's obviously going to be a player that's going to have solid minutes going forward.
Yeah, and Ganalo's a guy that started last season, and then he was hurt at the beginning of the year and now got reinserted in the starting lineup. But he can play that stretch 4. He's not as athletic as Joe Roast is, but he can knock down threes whenever he gets a good stroke going. He can really knock down the three-pointer, but they need to get him to see that first one go through, because if they get Ganalo going, they got a pretty good shot in staying in this one.
On the other side for the Mustangs, they score the basketball real well on the season, about 61 points a game. Just 2 weeks ago, they dropped 80 in a game against Metro Academy. But again, only 22 points at the halftime break. Do you credit more the Aquinas defense, or do you have more of a knock on the Blue Valley North offense after one half?
I would give credit to St. Thomas Aquinas. They always preach defense. Coach Cooper Smith's always very animated when they're on the defensive end. But also, I think Blue Valley North, you just don't see them really trying to get to the basket. You're not really seeing them play with pace. You normally see them play with that pace. And right now, they're kind of going through the motions on the offensive end. So I think that's one thing that they're going to talk about in that locker room. They're just not playing with pace. When they did play with pace, they were able to get to the basket and really get any shot that they wanted. So I think you're going to see Blue Valley North really start to pick up the pace, maybe even try to press a little bit, get some turnovers, get some transition points.
Their headline grabber, Amari Pesic-Hickson, he's been quiet after one half. Only 7 points, but hasn't really looked for his shot. We're closing in on the third quarter. We step aside one more time. Halftime between the Mustangs and the Saints, tied at 22 on your ESPN Kansas City High School Basketball Game of the Week.
2.
Yep. I don't see him. That hurts.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to risk him
No.
because they already, again, know who they're playing.
Thirty.
Yeah, I think he's done.
Ten. Here we go.
Welcome back on ESPN Kansas City and 810varsity.com. Teams back on the floor for this third quarter. Taylor and one notable absence. Joe Roast not on the floor, but this may be more precautionary than anything.
Yeah, you know who you're playing next week. There's no really reason for having him out on the floor, risking another injury. Try to get him as healthy as possible for next week for your sub-state matchup over in Topeka.
Yeah, you mentioned those sub-state brackets, and obviously the sub-state brackets have already come through. They came through on Wednesday night, and Aquinas, like you mentioned, they will be in Topeka, taking on Topeka Seaman on Thursday night at 7 o'clock up in Topeka, and then they will get the winner of the play-in game, Sumner versus Turner, as the winner of that game takes on the number 2 seed Baser Linwood. And so Aquinas, if they're able to take down Seaman up in Topeka, they will likely have to face the Bobcats of Baser Linwood to advance to the state to the state tournament. And on the 6A side for Blue Valley North, they have got their matchup, a rivalry game, a rematch from earlier this year when they played Blue Valley. They played Blue Valley recently on February 5th. They won that game 66-54. That's going to be in this building. And if they win that, they will likely get the Eagles of Olathe North up in Olathe next Friday night. We might be there for our ESPN Kansas City Game of the Week. That's yet to be set, but potentially where we'll be sent for the sub-state championship between likely Olathe North and either Blue Valley or Blue Valley North. Mustangs are going to start with the basketball in this third quarter to Ethan Vlasic on the low block, trying to dribble around a double team. Got it taken away. Navy up and running with it across the timeline. Moves over to the right wing. He starts this second half alongside Tank Young, Matt Connor, Zach Janolo, and Keyshawn Mason. Left side, Connor. Uses the screen, top of the key. Works it over to the right wing. 22-22 to start third quarter. Connor drives left side of the lane, kicks to Keyshawn Mason, wasn't ready for it, came to Navy, pulls up from inside the left elbow, wouldn't go. Long rebound comes out, controlled by Blue Valley North, and then Hendershot takes it away from two defenders. Hendershot in the lane, almost traveled, works it left side into the hands of a wide open Jack Sheplack, who buries the three.
Kind of a chaotic start to the second half, and Blue Valley North able to find the wide open left corner three.
Puts Blue Valley North back on the high side, 25-22. Right side, Matt Connor. Works to Mason, right block. He will back his way into the low block, missed the lay-in. The rebound comes out of bounds. Last touch by North, and it will stay with STA, but Mason, point blank, couldn't finish the bunny.
I said he also might have been, needs to be careful. It kind of looks like he lowered that left shoulder to get to the basket.
Janillo hands off to Tank Young, right wing. 6:45 to go, third quarter, just underway in the second half between STA and Blue Valley North. A couple of teams with the state tournament on their minds. Zerion Navy. He will kick right side into the hands of Connor. Pessa kicks it on him. Dribbles away from a double team, now behind the back, top of the key. Left side, Tank Young. Aquinas taking their time again offensively. Young gets bumped at the top of the key, no call, gets to the foul line, backs it off into the hands of Keyshawn Mason. Mason puts it on the deck, and now he works it left corner to Matt Connor. Connor drives that baseline, and he thought better of it, and he will retreat back near midcourt. The Saints killing clock, but we've seen this many a time from Jake Coopersmith. Janillo straight away. He'll fire an open three, and they'll rattle it home. Ties the game at 25.
Yeah, and if they can get that from Ganalo the rest of the game, it's going to be a huge plus for the Saints.
Hershey, the up and under move, it wouldn't go. Mason wrestles away a rebound from Vlasic. STA wants to run, looking for their first lead of the game, but instead, Zarion Navy turns it over. Mustangs, trouble in the backcourt. Hershey getting hounded near midcourt, finally breaks into the front court, spins past the defender, works over to Vlasic. Now left side, Sheplak. Into the corner, they work at Hendershot. Hendershot, free throw line, Vlasic straight away, jump shot will go. And now 7 in the game for Ethan Vlasic.
And Vlasic had a nice little 15-footer right there. And again, Blue Valley North playing very chaotic so far to start the second half.
Straight away, Mason. STA back in the 2-point hole. 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. 27-25. Mustangs from Blue Valley North High School. Mason, high catch on the right baseline. Working against Vlasic. Gets into the low block. Spins to the left side. A whistle and a foul call against the Mustangs. I believe it'll go against Ethan Vlasic. And they'll put Keyshawn Mason to the line for the first time tonight. 4:53 to go third quarter.
Yeah, and with the matchup with Vlasic, Mason obviously with those 3 fouls in the first half really hasn't been able to take advantage of the size advantage. He's got a lot more weight on him than Vlasic does.
First free throw long from Keyshawn Mason. Another one coming to Mason on the year, a 53% free throw shooter. And they need him to really step up in this second half. That's 2, by the way, on Ethan Vlasic. Colangelo over to the scorer's table for STA. Second free throw will go for Keyshawn Mason. And only 3 points so far in the contest for the 6'8 sophomore transfer from Mill Valley High School. Who, by the way, Blue Valley North steamrolled last night, 66-48.
Hey, like you mentioned, that's his first point since that dunk to open the game.
Left side, Vlasic for the Mustangs. A 1-point advantage. This pass stolen by Matt Connor. Connor gets to the top of the key, picks up his dribble, kicks right side, Tank Young. Young will drive, get to the lane, kick left side. Colangelo almost lost it, struggles to get it back, and now he does. Zarion Navy up front with it now. And a whistle and a foul call as Navy attacked the chest of Ben Hershey, and Hershey picks up the blocking foul. Aquinas, again, has not led since about the 7-minute mark in the first quarter. They got an early dunk by Keyshawn Mason. They led 4-2 early on. But then since then, it's been all Blue Valley North. Right side, Matt Connor. He'll fire a 3 for the lead. He's got it. And Aquinas goes back up a pair.
And that's big for St. Thomas Aquinas. Matthew Connor doesn't really shoot the ball too much. He's kind of more just the point guard that handles the basketball. But if they can get Connor going, that'll be a huge plus without Roast.
Pesa kicks it up front for the Mustangs. Now down 2. He'll pull up from the left elbow. Wouldn't go, but a foul call is going to put the future Jayhawk on the free throw line. This guy obviously going to go play football for Kansas, but last year he put himself on the map, and he was one of the top-ranked junior recruits as he hits the first free throw on the basketball court. This guy was going to have basketball offers coming his way, but again, had a tremendous football season this past year, and all of a sudden he became one of the most prized football recruits in Kansas City. Hits both free throws. He's got 9 now in the ball game, and a 30-second timeout. 3:50 to go third quarter. And it has just been rinse-repeat now in this third quarter from what we saw in the first half. Again, a lot of defense. Both teams offensively seemingly out of sorts at times, but right there neck and neck with each other at 29 apiece.
Yeah, I'd say Blue Valley North really has been kind of chaotic. They've been lucky they don't have 2 or 3 turnovers to begin this second half. But you're just kind of seeing a defensive battle. We kind of thought coming in here that you might see a little bit more offense. Blue Valley North likes to score the basketball, but St. Thomas Aquinas has really been able to impose what they want to do. They really want to keep keep the score lower and keep it in the high 40s, low 50s. So St. Thomas Aquinas really being able to control this pace. Blue Valley North needs to be careful with how their offense is going so far in the second half. They've gotten lucky they haven't turned the basketball over more than they have to begin the second half.
And again, Aquinas' leading scorer, Joe Roast, injured his ankle at the end of that second quarter, and he is going to be out for the remainder of this game, again with Sub-State starting next week in Kansas City. Left side out of the timeout, TJ Williams-Bay for Aquinas. He'll attack the paint, right side, step back, tried to work it into Janillo, got it off the back of a Mustang, and now a whistle and a 3-second call against Zach Janillo. And yeah, Williams-Bay rose to pass that ball to Janillo. Janillo wasn't ready, and so he just dumped it off the back of a Mustang right back to himself. But unfortunately, the 3-second call gives it back to the Mustangs. Left side, Sheplak, guarded by Tank Young, and now a whistle, and Vlasic comes up limp on the baseline, and an injury timeout as Ethan Vlasic goes to the floor. He's favoring his right leg. And this is another big blow, this time for the Mustangs.
Okay, and you can tell Vlasic is in a lot of pain.
And he is a critical piece for this team as well. 6'7" senior, he will head to the locker room. 7 points in this game already for Vlasic as he's helped off the floor. But, yeah, there was no contact there. And all of a sudden, he just crumpled to a heap on the sideline.
And he saw the baseline referee ask Zach Ganalo, did you touch him? And you could read Ganalo's lips, and he said, no, I didn't touch him.
So it stays with Mustangs after the injury timeout, and they help Vlasic to the locker room. A couple of key injuries tonight at the end of the regular season. Pesic Hickson, he'll drive left side. Tough shot, he banked it in, and a chance for a three-point play for the future Jayhawk.
And he just out-muscled TJ Williams-Bay. Well, Williams-Bay had a decent position on him, but Pesic Hickson really just using that strength to get to the rim, and TJ Williams-Bay picks up his second.
And now Blue Valley North is desperately going to need Pesic Hickson to flip that switch as he airballs the free throw. 3:17 left in this third quarter. 31-29 Mustangs by a pair. In the regular season finale for both of these teams. Connor, right wing with it. Colangelo trying to work it into the post. High grab for Janillo. Janillo going to work inside. Back to Colangelo. Thought about the three, thought better of it, and now they'll reset the offense. Inside 3 to play, third quarter. Janillo on the low block against the double team, able to bank it in. 5 in the game for Janillo. Pesic Hickson up front with it. Picks up his dribble and now works it into the hands of Hendershot, who gets this tipped out of his hands, and it's going to come out of bounds, and they're going to give it to STA, but it looked like that was definitely last touched by the Saints. It got stripped out of Hendershot's hands, came out of bounds, and now they are going to say it is STA ball. They're going to stay with the original call. The Blue Valley North coaching staff didn't like the call. Nobody on the floor for the Mustangs liked the call, but it will be Saints basketball.
Yeah, that's a big turnover. And Santa went off his knee. Didn't really see it, but it's going to be Saints basketball, and the Saints have a chance to take their first lead since very early in the first quarter.
Here comes Matt Connor in this STA attack in a tie game, 31-31. Williams-Bay right wing. And more stalling from this STA offense. But this is what they've done. They've taken the air out of the basketball for most of this ball game, but it's allowed them to stay in a tight one. Left side Matt Connor, and he'll work it back near the end at midcourt from Blue Valley North. They work it to Janillo on the low block, got past his defender, missed the layup. Offensive rebound, Colangelo got it stripped, and a reach-in foul call on Pesic Hickson is going to put Ben Hershey, or Colangelo to the line rather. 1:57 to go third quarter. 2 coming for Colangelo, the 6'4" senior. First free throw will not go. Rims out for the 64% free throw shooter. Another one coming. Colangelo's second shot will go. And STA back up a point, 32-31. Pesic Hickson behind the back dribble, long two from the right side, comes up with nothing but the backboard. Young right side for STA, up top Connor, back to Young, open three, Tank Young, wouldn't go. Rebound will come to Blue Valley North, but a foul on STA is going to keep it with the Mustangs. 1:39 to go third quarter, and now another one stays down. Finally, TJ Williams Bay able to help himself to his feet. But that's started to become a concern here. Injuries in this game. We've already seen 2 big injuries for both teams. That's one thing you want to avoid. Obviously, you want to win to build some momentum going into the playoffs, but even more importantly, you want to keep your team healthy.
I say that's the big thing right now, so that's why Roast and Vlasic probably won't see them the rest of this game.
Vlasic still in the locker room for Blue Valley North. Roast never came back out onto the floor either for STA. Hendershot works it into the post and back on the floor, excuse me. Ethan Vlasic snuck out there as he gets bumped and fouled inside, so I didn't even see him check back in, but he is out of the locker room and he's on the floor.
I didn't see him check in either.
So that's good news for the Mustangs, able to get Vlasic back after an injury scare. And they work it to half court into Sean Hendershot. Adams right wing back to Hendershot. And now the Mustangs in a little bit of a stall game themselves. Nearly a turnover. Over to get it, Sheplak. Up top, Adams thought about a three, sidesteps one, pulls up from the elbow and hits it. Pretty move by Luke Adams.
I say Luke Adams at the top of the key three. Just pump fake, able to get right around Connor and able to hit the 19-footer.
33-32, Blue Valley North up one. Connor, right side of the lane, picks up his dribble, works Tank Young. Young will attack the paint through 2 defenders, taking some contact and going to the line. Again, Tank Young, you said it, I think, perfectly in the first quarter. He plays basketball like he plays football. He is going to drop those shoulders and attack, go north-south like he runs the basketball, and he runs it right into the chest of Ethan Vlasic and earns another trip to the free throw line.
But I say 99% of the time he's always the smallest guy on the floor, but he's always the guy that's trying to get to the rim, and he's not afraid. He's absolutely not afraid of contact.
Hits the first free throw. 3 for 3 from the line is Tank Young this evening. 54 seconds to go in this third quarter. Second free throw comes up short. Vlasic the board. Inside 50 seconds. Blue Valley North back with it. See if they want to kill clock on this possession. Vlasic up front. Trying to work it to Adams. He finally does near the top of the key. Adams in the lane, almost lost the dribble. Left side, Hendershot through the lane. Tough shot with the right hand, wouldn't go. But he does get fouled, and they're going to put him on the line with 33 to play third quarter. Nickit Karana over to the scorer's table, check in. 2 shots for Hendershot. 3 points in the game for Hendershot. First free throw rattles home. Karana checks in. Vlasic heads off. 1 more free throw for the 6'4 junior coming. 75% free throw shooter on the year. Hits them both. And a 35-33 advantage for Blue Valley North. And now STA will likely hold for the final shot. Connor sitting there dribbling it with a right hand right on the N logo at Blue Valley North High School. Inside 20 seconds to go third quarter. Mustangs by a pair. Aquinas trying to tie or take the lead going into quarter number 4. Inside 10 seconds. Navy's deep, fall away. 30 goes Zarion Navy from about 30 feet. And Tank Young pokes it away in the backcourt. Picks it up, fires a 3, around the rim and off. And Aquinas rides a 1-point lead into the quarter break. Zarion Navy buries a deep step back. And your ESPN Kansas City Game of the Week heads for quarter number 4.
1.
Yeah. That was a
a
terrible shot.
yeah.
That's very.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Yeah. Well, it was deep and he faded away.
Right. He hit it. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I would say that was nothing to net. That would have been big if Young's
Oh, yeah.
chuck it from the sideline would have gone in.
$30. $10. Here we go.
Quarter number 4 from Blue Valley North High School on ESPN Kansas City and 810varsity.com. St. Thomas Aquinas will start with the basketball. They take a 1-point lead into this fourth quarter, 36-35. Left side, Phillip Bell works over to Matt Connor. Amari Pesic-Hickson on him. Connor gets to the right block, dishes it left corner, Tank Young. And now he'll reset the offense back near midcourt. And again, we're going to see the same strategy offensively for Jake Cooper-Smith's team as we've seen in the first 3 quarters. Why change it now? It's kept you in a 1-point game with Blue Valley North. Right side, Connor. Dribbles away from a double team, and now left side, Zarion Navy hit that big 3 at the end of the third quarter. Drives the baseline, and now he retreats back to the corner and works it up top. Inside, Keyshawn Mason back to the basket, trying to back his way into Vlasic. Up top, Zarion Navy thought about the 3. Now he'll pump and drive. A floater for Navy will go on the baseline.
And they had, St. Thomas Aquinas had that basketball for exactly 1 minute. So they really were able to work it. And Zarion Navy's been a huge spark for St. Thomas Aquinas after the Joe Roast injury.
Vlasic inside got tripped from behind, and they send him fall into the floor. And if this is on Keyshawn Mason, it's his 4th. 10 in the game, by the way, for Zarion Navy. And Jake Cooper-Smith was out here near midcourt in the ear of the official. And that is the 4th on Mason. Now he will head to the sideline, and we'll see how long he stays planted on the bench. Not long, I tell you that.
I would say with 4, probably maybe at a 5.5, you probably see him back in.
Blue Valley North in the 3-point hole now. Believe it or not, this is the biggest lead Aquinas has had all ball game. Pesic-Hickson with Tank Young on him. Drives to the low block, got a shot blocked, but a foul is going to put Pesic-Hickson to the line. 6:35 to go in the ball game. 38-35 Aquinas. Pesic-Hickson right now sitting on 11 points in the game. And he's back to the line. Airballed his last free throw, by the way. Hits the first one here. Ben Hershey checks back in.
And also, too, Zagnalo needs to be smart because with 6:35 to go, he just picked up his 3rd.
Second free throw goes for Pesic-Hickson. Here comes STA in a 1-point lead. It's been tight throughout from Blue Valley North. Biggest lead has been 5 for the Mustangs early on in this one. Cooper-Smith wants a timeout. Wants to talk about it. 6:26 to go in this fourth quarter. And now it is, I mean, the writing's been on the wall since we got going, but in this fourth quarter especially, it is going to be a possession-by-possession game.
Yeah, and the first possession of the fourth quarter really told the story of what we're going to see here in the fourth quarter. St. Thomas Aquinas, that shot by Zarion Navy to start the quarter came with 7:01 left to go in the fourth quarter, and the bucket went through at 7 minutes. So St. Thomas Aquinas was able to hold the ball for exactly a minute, and then Blue Valley North, they had the ball for the latter half of 30 seconds as well. So a lot of long possessions so far, both possessions so far for both teams. I think the fourth quarter you're going to see a lot of that. I think you're going to see a lot of screens, a lot of ball movement, a lot of cutting, but not a lot of action.
Sub-state tournaments, they start next week. Wednesday night, Sub-state gets rolling in 6A, and on Thursday, Sub-state will get going in 5A. And the teams that advance to the Sub-state championship games will play Friday night, and we may be headed for one of those games. Olathe North likely will be in the Sub-state final, and they will take on the winner of Blue Valley and Blue Valley North. The Mustangs have won 8 of their last 10, trying to make it 9 of their last 11. But they're going to have a tough fourth quarter with this tough Aquinas team. Connor out of the timeout will start it for STA. Up top, Phillip Bell works into the post. Janillo goes into the chest of Vlasic. Can't get the two to fall. Rebound comes out, controlled by Blue Valley North. Pesic Hickson wants to run against 2 defenders. Hangs in the air. Scoop will go for Pesic Hickson. 15 in the game for the future Jayhawk. Young right wing for STA. He'll drive into the body of Vlasic now, and he gets fouled before the shot, and they're going to call this, I believe, on Pesic Hickson from behind. That's his third, and Tank Young to the line in a 1-point game. 5:59 to go fourth quarter. Tank Young 3 of 4 from the free throw line, hits the first. Sean Hendershot into the game. Jack Sheplack into the game for Blue Valley North. Again, this is a future Division I running back, potentially in the Big 12. SEC teams have targeted the young man as well. This guy, he is going to be a next-level tailback. Going to be fun to watch his maturation. Only a sophomore as he hits both free throws. Back the other way comes Blue Valley North. Pesic Hickson right side. He's going to play football at the next level, obviously. At KU, we've talked about it all night. Vlasic back to the basket, spins over his left shoulder, couldn't hit the bunny. Back the other way comes St. Thomas Aquinas. Connor, up top, Janillo, thought about the three, works it to Navy left side, 40-39. Navy a fire at 3, that won't go. Rebound, Pesic Hickson. Back the other way come the Mustangs down a point. Pesic Hickson, little crossover, pull up from the right elbow, wouldn't go. Rebound will stay with the Mustangs. Sheplack over to grab it. Left side, Hershey. Puts it on the deck. Now he picks it up. In trouble. Dumps it to Pesic Hickson on the baseline. Rises up against 2 defenders. Shot wouldn't go. Rebound batted around and comes out of bounds. Last touch by Aquinas, and it will stay with the Mustangs.
I'm saying Blue Valley North right now just still looks kind of out of sync, you know, with 5:10 left to go in the fourth quarter. Looks like.
And now Cooper Smith given a warning by the near side official as he was creeping towards midcourt again. Mustangs inbounded up front, Ben Hershey. Aquinas has done a great job collapsing the post. Here's a baseline drive and able to get past 2 defenders and bank it in with Jack Sheplack. 41-40, Mustangs go back up a point. Connor will lower his shoulder. Kick it left baseline, Zarion Navy. Right side, they work it to Tank Young. Sitting on 9 points with the blow by, and Young is fouled on the dribble drive by Ben Hershey.
And with Young, if he catches it on that wing and you really favor away from the baseline, he's going to take it baseline every single time. We've seen that so far the entire game.
Keyshawn Mason will check in. 4:42 to go fourth quarter, playing with 4 fouls. And you said it, probably only going to spend a minute and a half, 2 minutes on the bench, and here he comes, just under 5 to play in this fourth quarter. They inbound to Colangelo, reverse layup will go, and Aquinas goes back up a point.
And I don't think that was the play. Colangelo just felt his defender and went straight to the basket. His defender was on his back, but basket was able to get
Pesic Hickson missed the layup. Young wants to run in the open floor against 2 defenders. The blow by and the lay in for Tank Young. Young has got 11. The lead is 3 and a timeout for Ryan Pfeiffer's club. Blue Valley North in a 3-point hole, 4:18 to go fourth quarter. And Aquinas, boy, had their backs against the wall seemingly in the second quarter. They had lost Joe Rose to an injury. Keyshawn Mason had just picked up his 3rd personal foul. They seemed to be in all sorts of trouble but give Jake Cooper-Smith and this coaching staff credit. They have found a way to keep this a low-scoring, slow-paced game, and they have worked it into their favor, a 3-point lead with 4 to play.
Yeah, Coach Cooper-Smith and his coaching staff deserve a lot of credit. And at the time, Joe Roast, if I remember correctly, they were down 4 when Joe Roast got hurt. Everything could have just unraveled for St. Thomas Aquinas if they really wanted it to. And then Keyshawn Mason, in 30 seconds later, picks up his 3rd foul. Everything could have unraveled. They were able to get it tied, and now they got up 3. And you're kind of seeing Tank Young. Really start to take over. You're seeing the speed. You're seeing the athleticism of Young. Zion Navy's been kind of the story for me so far. Coming off the bench, hasn't really played much since he's been taken out of the starting lineup. He's really played impressive minutes so far here tonight.
And for Aquinas, boy, they've got to relish playing in games like this and playing in tough games all year in the EKL. And I was talking to assistant coach Mark Nussbaum before this game, and he said, it works in their favor going into sub-state play, playing arguably one of the toughest playing one of the toughest schedules that anybody plays in the state of Kansas, and it really gets you going and into playoff mode early on. Certainly seems like it tonight from Blue Valley North. The Mustangs control out of the timeout. Left side nearly a steal. Ball batted around, and the Mustangs grab it. Hendershot kicks into the corner. Sheplak catch and shoot. Comes up short, got his own rebound. Into the lane, the runner will go and one. Sheplak a chance for a 3-point play.
I say Zion Navy rushed out to the right for the right corner 3, and just overplayed it, couldn't box out, able to get their own rebound. It was Blue Valley North, and now they got a chance to tie this ball game up.
3:54 to go in the 4th quarter. Sheplak can hit the reset button and tie this game again. He does. Sheplak off the bench, 8 points tonight. Aquinas back with it. Navy left wing. Aquinas has lost 2 of their last 3 games, trying to get back into the win column. Blue Valley North, they've been red hot, winners of 5 straight games. Both teams want to keep things rolling going into sub-state. Young right side, crossing it over. Gets to the top of the key, and now they work it left side to the point guard, Matt Connor. Navy right wing. Use the screen from Janillo, and he'll reset the offense back near midcourt. 3:10 to go 4th quarter. In a 44-44 game from Blue Valley North High School. Navy left side of the lane. Tough off-balance shot won't go, but a trip to the foul line coming for Zarion Navy.
Navy's just been real tough so far in this game. Really just been instant offense so far for St. Thomas Aquinas, and it's been good to see. He's been kind of relegated to a bench role ever since Keyshawn Mason and Ganalo came back. But Navy's showing why he was a starter before Christmas.
Navy's got 10 in the game, including 5 in this second half. First free throw comes up short. Colangelo comes in. Janillo heads off. 3 fouls for Ethan Vlasic, by the way. That last foul on Vlasic. But an injury scare back in the 3rd quarter. Second free throw for Navy will go. 11 in the game for Navy. Here comes Pesakikson. Right side, backdoor pass is taken away by Colangelo. Aquinas will slow it up in the half court. Connor works right side. Young thought about a 3. And now they'll slow it down, but this is Jake Cooper-Smith's identity. This is what he wants to do, take the air out of the basketball and play it possession by possession. Young, a crossover, gets into the paint against the double team, forces it up, wouldn't go. Tip will go for Colangelo. How big has he been down the stretch?
Colangelo getting that steal about 30 seconds ago, and then being able to get that tip in. That's a huge tip in. Gets it back to 3. Now with 2:28, you're starting to feel a little bit of pressure on Blue Valley North's side.
47-44, Aquinas by 3. 2:20 to play. Sheplak, he'll fire a 3. That wouldn't go. Boarded by Connor, up and running with it. past one defender into the paint. His pass taken away by Hendershot. 2-on-1 break for the Mustangs. Hendershot got bumped, and they'll send him to the line with 2:10 to go fourth quarter.
I think
they may call this on the floor. There was a discussion about it, and they will send him to the line.
I do think they called it on the floor, but it will be a one-on-one.
Wow, yeah. I'm surprised that's not a shooting foul. 2:10 to go fourth quarter. I mean, it's an awkward angle, and he was definitely playing for the foul, but he was still in the act of shooting. It doesn't matter how it looks in real time. A shot's a shot. 1-1, though. First free throw will go for Hendershot, and it's a mute point, obviously, now. But he did have a teammate running with him. He had Jack Sheplak across the paint, didn't see him. He hits the second free throw, so he had mute point, hits them both. He's got 7 in the game. It's a 1-point lead with 2:03 to go in the contest. And Aquinas, they're about to pump the brakes on this possession. They're going to try to take off maybe a minute of clock, I'm sure. Instead, Colangelo drives to the basket, and he gets bumped and fouled, and they send him to the line. And it seems like that has been every possession for Aquinas. Either they take it down inside of a minute on a possession, or they attack and get to the foul line every time.
Yeah, and Colangelo, I think a little bit lucky that he got bumped. It looked like he probably wasn't going to make that layup. But like you said, they either take a minute off or they go straight towards the basket.
First free throw for Colangelo will go. 5 points in this fourth quarter for the 6'4 senior off the bench. He averages 2 points a game. And he has been critical in this fourth quarter without Joe Roast. Second free throw for Colangelo. No good. And it's a 2-point lead for Aquinas. Still a lot of time. 1:50 to play in the contest. Mustangs basketball in that 2-point hole. Left side Adams. Pumps past one. He'll fire at 3. Wouldn't go. Rebound Navy for Aquinas. Had the look, couldn't hit it. Right side Young. And now Cooper Smith wants to take a timeout for St. Thomas Aquinas. 1:30 to go in this fourth quarter. 48-46. Aquinas has been up to the task. Blue Valley North, they need a stop now. And will try to play for the tie or the lead if they can come away with a stop. It's a full timeout. And now for Aquinas, you got to imagine copy-paste here. I mean, they have been very good. They have been very sound offensively in the second half. They're not breaking the scoreboard by any means, but we were just talking about it. Either they're killing a lot of clock or they're driving, attacking the paint, and finding contact.
Yeah, they're finding contact whenever they drive, especially Tank Young. He always normally looks for contact. Obviously, that's kind of how he gets bailed out for being 5'9" sometimes. But again, I think in this scenario, I think you force Blue Valley North to foul unless you get a wide open layup. I think you really force Blue Valley North to start fouling. You're going to shoot a 1-on-1, so if you're Coach Cooper Smith, put your best free throw shooters on the floor. Tell them to kind of run some offense because it kind of depends. Blue Valley North might play this for 30 to 35 seconds just trying to get a steal. Once they can't get a steal, they probably have some sort of signal or call to start fouling. So if you're St. Thomas Aquinas in that huddle, you got to really start talking about, you got to be strong with the basketball because they're going to come for steals and possibly fouls. If you're Blue Valley North, be aggressive. I mean, not a lot of your guys on the floor are in foul trouble. I know Hickson has 3, so he's got to be smart. But everybody else, I believe, is in pretty good foul trouble.
Aquinas will have it out of the timeout. They inbound into the backcourt to Matt Connor. And again, 1:28 to go fourth quarter. Pesic Hickson all over Matt Connor, a reach-in foul call. And a 1-and-1 for the point guard, Matt Connor. And now here's where it starts to get interesting now as Aquinas will go to the line. Matt Connor, a 50% free throw shooter on the year. Doesn't get here much, but on the season, a 50% shooter. First shot of the 1-and-1, no good. Offensive rebound, Colangelo. And a new possession for STA.
And Colangelo, you can't talk much more about how he has been off the bench. He's been incredible off the bench.
Tank Young gets fouled near midcourt by Sheplak. And they're going to send Young to the free throw line, but that looked more intentional. 1:14 to go, and that'll be Tank Young, this time shooting 2 free throws. Tank Young, he's been perfect from the line, 4 for 4 tonight. First shot for Young is good. Stays perfect. 12 in the game.
And Young has a chance to give St. Thomas Aquinas their largest lead of the game here at 4 and make it a 2-possession game.
Second shot for Young is good. Calmly, he is perfect from the line. 50-46, 4-point advantage STA. Pesic up front. He's got it right side now. He's going to attack the paint, hang in the air, get fouled, and they're going to put Pesic to the line. 1:02 to go fourth quarter. Pesic 4 of 5 from the free throw line tonight, 15 points in the game. 65% free throw shooter, and they need both of these. First shot will rattle home. 16 in the game, one more coming. Got them both. Tank Young with it in the backcourt. Over to Matt Connor. Back to Young. He gets double teamed, trapped, and now he wants to take a timeout, and he will get granted that timeout. 54 seconds to go fourth quarter, and now let's talk about the foul strategy for Blue Valley North. Just looking at this game, Tank Young's perfect, 6 of 6 from the line. It seems like everyone else has struggled, though, from the line.
Yeah, I think if you try to get the ball, if Tank Young gets the ball out of the sideline play here, there's still 54 seconds left. You're down 2. You can allow Tank Young to get the ball out of his hands. Keyshawn Mason's a guy I would foul. Matthew Connor, because the last free throw he took missed it. Colangelo is a guy I wouldn't foul. I think he's 3 for 4 so far here tonight. I think Colangelo and Young are the 2 guys on the floor that I would not foul. Force the other 3 guys to go to that free throw line and make their free throws, because as you saw, Matthew Connor didn't make his first free throw of the front end of the 1-on-1. But I think if it's Tank Young or Colangelo, I think you kind of play it out, force it to get out of their hands, and then you foul.
By the way, for the first time since February 8th, Aquinas has now hit the 50-point mark. They had been under it their last 3 contests. Stays with Aquinas. They'll inbound into the backcourt, Matt Connor, and I think that's the guy you foul here. He's a 50% free throw shooter. They work it to Colangelo. Pass midcourt over to Tank Young. Right side, Keyshawn Mason, and why not foul him? On the baseline, still trying to get rid of it, and they finally do with 41 to go. But I don't know why you even let 10 seconds come off the clock right now.
Yeah, especially whenever Keyshawn Mason first caught it.
Yes.
He caught it at about 46 seconds left. I think you foul right there. The second Keyshawn Mason touches that basketball, I'd foul him.
And Matt Connor, they inbound the hit to him in the backcourt, and then he struggles from the line. Keyshawn Mason, he's a 53% free throw shooter. His first shot is good. Calmly, the 6'8 sophomore gives Aquinas a 3-point lead, and he'll have another shot coming. Luke Adams, he's a 3-point specialist. He checks in for Blue Valley North. This is the big one to make it a 2-possession game again with 41 seconds to play. Mason bends his knees, fires, hits, no problem. 2 for 2 trip for Keyshawn Mason. Here comes Pesic into the front court for the Mustangs. Crossover, getting into the lane, hang in the air, get the foul, wouldn't get it to go, but he is going to the free throw line. And another trip for Pesic, 2 for 2 on his last trip, and 6 of 7 from the line in the ball game. But a good job by Pesic attacking the paint immediately, drawing the foul.
I say he just attacks and tries to pick up the fouls. And Tank Young now with his 3rd, so he's got to be smart now the rest of the way. And that's a big missed free throw.
Comes up short, hits the front end. You got to have at least one of them. Make it a 1-possession game again. Blue Valley North, they've won 3 straight games in this rivalry. Dating back to 2016. The second free throw is no good. Missed them both. Rebound Saints. Navy left side. Spins past 1 into the front court. Navy with the blow by all the way to the rack. Layup goes for Terry on Navy. Oh, a magician. Navy made everyone miss. got himself to the cup, and it's a 6-point lead for the Saints.
That's a lot of confidence from Navy, the junior. He's able to get it, blow by his defender here near half court, and he pretty much had a 2-on-1, 3-on-1 if he had it. And I think Coach Coopersmith was probably in his head screaming, pull it out, but he was able to get the layup to go. Makes it a 6-point game with 21.8 seconds to go. So those 2 missed free throws are huge for Blue Valley North.
54-48. And this would be such a big win for St. Thomas Aquinas. Again, going on the road in a difficult environment. They've lost 3 straight against Blue Valley North. They needed a win in the worst of ways. Like we said, they had lost 2 of their last 3 games. They've got a very difficult sub-state coming up. And again, without Joe Roast in the lineup here in this second half, they have put together a fantastic performance. It's not going to blow you away when you look at the box score at the end of the night, but what they have done from a coaching standpoint, a defensive standpoint, has been phenomenal.
Yeah, it's been absolutely phenomenal. Kind of touched on it earlier in the fourth quarter. Everything could have fallen apart when Joe Roast gets hurt and then Keyshawn Mason picks up his 3rd foul, down 3 or 4 points. Everything could have fallen apart, but they were able to fight, get it tied at halftime. Now they got a 6-point lead, and you gotta be thrilled if you're Coach Coopersmith getting such good contribution from Colangelo and Zarion Navy, because those are 2 guys coming off the bench. If they can get them going, that's big moving forward into next week.
In the backcourt, here comes Ben Hershey for the Mustangs. Inside 20 seconds. Hershey kicks left side. Sheplack catch and shoot. 3 is an air ball. And the St. Thomas Aquinas Saints board. And they're going to try to dribble this one out. Left side, Connor. They are not going to foul. Inside 5. And that's going to take us down to the end of this one. St. Thomas Aquinas, they earn a big road win against Blue Valley North. They snap a 3-game losing streak against these Mustangs. And St. Thomas Aquinas, they will finish the regular season 12-8 as they get kind of the monkey off their back, so to speak. Again, they had lost 2 of 3 coming into tonight, but they get a big road victory as they roll into sub-state. And Blue Valley North, they will finish with an identical 12-8 record, and this loss snaps a 5-game win streak for them. And now, Taylor, it's sub-state time in Kansas. And talk about, obviously, both of these teams. First for Aquinas, a difficult sub-state for them. But again, after tonight's performance, you got to feel good going into next week.
You got to feel real good about going into next week. You come on the road, you lose Joe Rose, too. He came back out onto the bench, and he had his knee wrapped. So it looked like it was possibly more upper leg than it was lower leg. You lose Joe Roast, down 3. Keyshawn Mason doesn't really have that good of a game. He really struggled from the field, couldn't really get going too much. I think he was held under double digits for the first time in a long time here for the Saints. And Zarion Navy, a guy who started before Christmas, you've got to be very thrilled that he was able to show up off the bench, proving that he can be relied on. And then also, you got to be real thrilled how Colangelo played, too. Colangelo is a guy that really played sparingly so far this season. Comes in, provides great minutes there in the second half. I think to Coach Coopersmith, you feel real good about going on the road to Topeka Seaman High School next week and possibly winning that one to get to the sub-state finals.
If they can take down Topeka Seaman up in Topeka next Thursday, they will likely return back here to face Baser Linwood at Baser on Saturday the 2nd at 6 o'clock p.m. And for Blue Valley North, obviously this loss snapped what was a 5-game win streak, but they had been playing tremendous basketball in the month of February prior to tonight. And even though you take a step backwards, you've got a sub-state where you feel confident. You just beat a Blue Valley team 2 weeks ago by 12 points. That's your first-round opponent. And if you can win that, you take on the 4-seed Olathe North. And on paper, the 5 versus 4 in a sub-state final is going to be the most even sub-state final you're going to get. And without a doubt, Olathe North is probably every bit as good as Blue Valley North. So that should be a fun sub-state, but you got to feel good, again, going into Wednesday night's game against the team you just took care of business against 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you got to feel real good about that. The psyche of Blue Valley North, obviously, it'll be hitting a little bit here, but you got to feel pretty good. You're playing a team that you already beat once so far this season. And again, like you said, the 4-5 matchup, that's always, that's going to be the closest game. Both teams are kind of similar right there. record-wise. So moving forward, I think you still got to feel pretty good about Blue Valley North. St. Thomas Aquinas was just able to really put their pace on the game. Blue Valley North obviously wants to score more in the 60s. They were held to 48 here tonight. I think Blue Valley North next Wednesday will be able to get back to the way they normally play. Like you said, they beat Blue Valley 2 weeks ago by scoring over 60 points.
Final score 54-48. St. Thomas Aquinas, a big road win for the Saints. 13 in the game for Tank Young, 13 more for Zarion Navy on the bench. And for Blue Valley North, 17 for the future Jayhawk Amari Pesic-Hickson, and 7 more for Ethan Vlasic in the loss. Once again, 12-8. Identical records to finish the regular season for both the Saints and the Mustangs. It's playoff time in Kansas City. Aquinas takes on Topeka Seaman up in Topeka, and Blue Valley North, they are back in this building next Wednesday night to take on Blue Valley in round 1 of the Sub-State Tournament. For Taylor Dameron, I'm Tim Spro. Thanking you for joining us on 810varsity.com and ESPN Kansas City. We'll see you from the Sub-State Finals next Friday night.